Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy, and welcome to the show. It's very nice to have you here. We are two comics who are going to solve all the world's problems, as we have been doing for the last year in lockdown, and look how things have gone. If you are in the UK, you'll know that coming up on the 19th of July, it's a big moment as lockdown ends forever, and restrictions go away, social distancing go away, masks go away, but the government has urged caution. So we have decided to implement from next week after the 19th, in order to watch this show, you must either wear a mask or send us proof of your vaccination or make a £10 donation to our Ko-fi link. So just saying that's, well, yes. And if you are wearing a mask, that's all you can wear. So those are the requirements to watch the show. And we'll send you £10 if you, anyway. But welcome to the show. Steve and I are going to take you through at least 4 problems to solve today. If you're just tuning in on the YouTube channel, which is our main channel, do like the show, because if you smash a like button, a fairy gets her wings. That's a guaranteed promise. And if you're on another platform watching us like Facebook or Twitter, you can jump over to YouTube, and that's where all the action happens. And you can even throw it up on your TV, do those kind of things. Or if you're watching on a device, you can throw the device to your TV. However, we just want to be on TV, however you can make that happen. And subscribe to the channel. And of course, there will be moments in the show where if you like to support us, because we are still, both of us, not at full gig capacity, you can contribute to what we do here and what we do every week and have been doing for a really long time now.
Yep.
Feels like a long time. But we will be checking in on the chat room as we go. But thank you for tuning in. And Mr. Stephen Allen, what have you got for us?
So I want to deal with a problem that we've been facing, and it's the problem that's the fallout of something that I'm now an expert on. That's right.
Okay.
It's time to talk sports.
Sports. Sports. Sports. Sporty sports. Sports, sports, sports.
Sports.
Nice.
So it's amazing. Like, football has taken over the country so much that even we are talking about sports 2 times in a row now. That's getting pretty sporty on this show. Look, if you didn't see the final of England v Italy in Euro 2020, look away now if you don't want to know the results. We lost. Oh yeah, it turns out looking away from something means, if you've not figured out how audio works, it's your own stupid fault, isn't it? But we didn't do well. It was disappointing to many of us. And I will say this, look, if you're going to lose in any way, losing on penalties is probably the best kind of loss, because at least we weren't outclassed, we weren't out-footballed, we were just out-lucked. Because it seems like if you're going to lose, everyone's getting, oh, it's a terrible way to go out. It's actually a really good way. You can hold your head up high and be like, oh, well, we managed to do pretty well all the way through, just darn those penalties. Although some people are still understandably upset, like this guy who was in the news, who decided to get an England Euro 2020 winners tattoo before the final. Now, it was a risk. Why would you get a tattoo saying that we won before we won? Were they doing them cheaper on the way in? I'll get it now, just in case. It's the opposite of some sort of Asda oops deal. However, he got a picture of it here. Here we are. Euro 2020, that's his leg, and it's coming home. Here's my problem with it. Even if we had have won, it should have read, it's come home. The present tense conjugated verb would be, look, maybe I'm the wrong guy to be critiquing other people's tattoos. Yeah. So he's understandably upset. He's saying he's keeping it. Yeah, that's how tattoos work. Well done. You've learned that the wrong way around. But some people are really upset about it. I was reading about the fact that there's a petition that's been signed to try and get the Italy versus England final replayed. You can't just keep replaying things until you get the result you want. This is not a Scottish independence referendum, you fools. But I watched it because I'm into sport now. And I sat there live tweeting it. I've not watched a football game in decades. I've not live tweeted something in like 5 years. So I sat there doing jokes about it on Twitter. I'm going to go through some of the pictures and screenshots that I took. because I think they prove that even though I'm now into football, none of the jokes I did had anything to do with football because I don't understand football. It's going back through my own timeline. We had this picture, and I remember saying, it looks like he's about to show him something really offensive that has been sent to him on WhatsApp. It's got, yeah, have a look at this. There's also this picture that I saw. This is Tom Cruise, who was there watching it. And I pointed out saying, look, I know Tom Cruise is small, but there's no reason for the lady behind to pretend that she's looking through a microscope to see him. It's just rude. Turns out that's Kate Moss. Look at that. I had no idea. Also, there was this picture when we got to see the celebrations at half-time. This is what happened when the England goal went in like 2 minutes into the game. They scored more quickly than it took me to say the word goal in last week's episode. And as you can, if you pay careful attention to this picture, I think you can see the 2 plumes of COVID rushing in when they saw that social distancing being removed, thinking, oh, it's our chance, lads. Come on.
It's hard to see, but
yeah, I think if you can, maybe it's got the wrong filter on to be able to see. It's very subtle, very subtle. This was my favourite picture out of all of it. This is some of the Italy fans, and I remember posting this saying, it looks like he's saying to her, no, I wanted you to dress up as one of Diana Ross's backing singers. Oh, never mind. So that's, although she's got a look on, I mean, that is a beautiful look on the face, isn't it? Never before has there been a situation of being able to say, my food's not agreeing with me. Look at that. But he's dressed up as Mario. And loads of people have said, what a weird stereotype to willingly take on. Like, Mario's not even an Italian character. That's like me as an English bloke dressing up as Dick Van Dyke's character in Mary Poppins. It's not actually what we are, but fair enough. It's up to you, innit? Enjoy it. Get stuck in. There was this picture of some supporters there, Prince William trying to do West Side, and actually not doing badly, trying to blend in with the common folk like me. I think we've got 1 point. There we are. There we go. That was no wonder they won. Look who they had on their side. I didn't think he would have been available on Sundays, but there we are. Interesting. Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah. And there was, the ball and the offsides and the penalty kick. And things.
I'm now an expert in it. So do you want to ask me a question?
Yeah. So the offside rule, how does that work?
Well, you can't pass to someone who's behind the last defender nearer the goal. If they are in a position close to the goal than the defender at the point of being passed to, then look at this already. Also, I've got opinions about football now as well. The fact that we managed to stay 1-1 with Italy, a fantastic team who had a unbeaten run of like 33 games, makes me think we should have beaten Scotland. Why did we not? Now, we didn't need the points. I can't help thinking there might have been some pressure put on Gareth Southgate to bring a draw back just so that it wasn't another reason to have another independence referendum. But more on that story as and when we have it. The big problem with the football wasn't the result, because that was great. We did really well. If you're going to lose, what a way to lose. The problem was with what happened afterwards. Twitter's had to delete thousands of offensive, abhorrent, racist abuse that was posted just because we lost at penalties. It's ridiculous. Boris Johnson said that he's going to try and change it so that if you say racist things online, you will not be allowed to watch football. Which, given that his article in The Guardian about looking like letterboxes is still on the internet, I guess he's not going to see football anymore. Yeah. But then he looks like he probably doesn't normally see it anyway, so he won't mind going back to just watching rugby. The other politicians came out to give their opinion. Priti Patel was disgusted about all of that abuse on social media. That didn't go down well, with Tyrone Mings then calling out the Home Secretary, because she originally said that taking the knee was gesture politics. Here's the tweet. You can see, you don't get to stoke the fire and then label our anti-racism message as gesture politics. This all comes down to the argument. The closest thing to a good argument is that taking the knee is linked to Black Lives Matter, not the concept, but the political movement. And then you think, it looks like they might have found some sort of a way into this argument. Ask the football players, are they doing it for a political reason? They say no. Should be end of discussion, isn't it? You've solved the problem that you were worried about. But still, people, we both do radio appearances, and this week people were saying, but it's all about trying to defund the police. It's not. Do you seriously think that Harry Kane is playing football simply so that he can somehow manage to become like massively left wing and change the system. It's at the end of the day, it's just nice to be there. I mean, we'll have to make some changes, change the lineup, change the formation, and maybe change it so we've got a Marxist and socialist society, which is easy for me to say. That's right. I've watched one game. I'm the Mike Yarwood of football impressions.
Do they have that sounding voice? Like Beckham kind of had that whiny voice. Is it just from getting hit in the head with a ball all these years? Yeah. Did their nasal cavities just collapse? Yeah. Like he started football, oh, my name's Eric King. How you doing? And then after all that time, it
really is.
My nasal cavity.
This is one of those weird ones where I had no idea what Harry Kane sounded like. Watched him being interviewed on the warm-up to it, and I was like, oh, that's the producer character I used to do on BBC Kent. Oh, I'll have that. Excellent. It's basically my Ray Romano impression. That kind of noise. That's all you need for it. But anyway, there's been... Okay, some of the racist abuse was bots, and that's let lots of people trying to argue, oh, it's just bots. That's just an element of number. That's maybe why there are so many. But the point is, still, some people were saying things that were racist. And it is ridiculous because even without the racism, the logic is not there to support their stupid keyboard worrying social media, letting them have their stupid thoughts broadcast to the world. Like, these are people who would be out of breath walking to the penalty spot. There's no way they get the ball anywhere near it. And they've got the audacity to be, oh, they missed it. What? And we have to address something in the industry, in the community. There was a comedian who said something that was tweeted, an offensive tweet. I'm not going to include the name because I don't want to be part of a pile-on, but we can look at the tweet that got them effectively cancelled, some of their gigs pulled. They said, all I'm saying is the white guy scored. Not really sure what kind of logic you're trying to pull out of that one from a very small data sample. That's like saying, recently I watched the film See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and all I'm saying is white guys can see. So that's as much logic as that's in there, but it does make me think. If you look at all the people who've taken to the internet with their stupid opinions, the people who didn't buy a ticket and tried to break in, and all of the politicians trying to sit on both sides of the fence, it's made me realise I do need to sign this petition to replay that game. We're not going to get a different result in terms of the score, but at least these idiots might get it right this time. So that's my look at me, impassioned, talking about
passion
football.
For sport.
Yeah.
Explain what happens to the offside rule if there's a throw-in.
The throw-in, no idea.
Apparently, I learned this week, and you can't be offsides with a throw-in.
You can't be offside.
No, because the ball's not in play, so you can throw it to anybody.
Oh, so it's the rule about passing to. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what my son told me, and he's 13. So, so somebody said, I don't understand. It's not my game. Let's talk about baseball. You want to talk about baseball?
I know less about baseball than I do about football, and I know nothing about football.
Great sport. You do, but you did. That sounded cogent about the offside rule.
No, the only reason I knew the offside rule is because I used to like football when I was a kid, and then just got out of it. And I remember that from being 7.
Not now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dismissive to all the people who struggle with the offside rule. I know. I learned it when I was 7. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. Now I'm focused more on like quantum mechanics, so don't know what you're paying attention to those rules for. iBogey says, I can't go and buy an ice cream in 3.5 minutes. Is that when you join the show? Well, you should have bought the ice cream before. It's your own fault, isn't it? Come on, Lions, says Chris Hood. He was watching Lions game. I did promise on Twitter for lots of coverage, and then Chris Hood says we lost. There's your coverage. Oh, it's not been a great game for the Lions this game.
3 lines.
Jack, no, I think it's not football, is it? Or is it football? But it's not the Euros. I know that much. Jack says evening all. Mark says it's Wednesday, or is it Thursday? I can answer that one. It's whichever comes first. Tom says good evening, the lads and people in the chat. We are so laddie. Yeah. It's unbelievable because we talk about sport.
Yeah. Talked about sport. We had the sports theme.
The sports
stuff.
iBogey says the tie's easy on my eyes today, Eric.
Oh, I like this tie.
Good one.
It's a classic. My wife doesn't like this tie.
While we're talking about ties and football, there was a thing in the newspaper saying that Gareth Southgate was trying to make knitted ties popular. Literally every bastard week on this show. I'm sitting here with a knitted tie. No, I'm knocking the microphone with it. Where's my?
But you can't make something popular when you've just been wearing something for 15 years.
What?
That's not how popular. That's not how you make. That's not how you do it.
He like wears it once, and all of a sudden, oh, knitted ties like Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like Stephen Allen, who used to
But
be on TV?
how much did that? His tie probably cost. You know.
This was on discount in Primark, not even Primark prices. This was £1 or maybe £2. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I got a black one of it as well, but that's always in my bag in case I turn up to a gig not ready. I've always got a spare tie, knitted. Southgate nicking my act. Chris Hood says, "Is that Eric's older brother?" Which I don't know which picture that was. Well, the one dressed as Mario.
I don't know. I think that look on her pizza face, though, that was definitely somebody who'd said to her, "Why don't we put some pineapple on that?"
Ooh.
That's the look you give.
It
That's the look.
is, isn't it? Mark says, "I take every opportunity to pump your button, and that's why I'm banned from Tesco." Ooh. Hang on.
Boom. Look at that. We've got it as a thing ready to go now.
I will get that as a shortcut key, as a hotkey, so we can do that quicker. Sporty Sport says Brit. Hello, Brit. Now he's just wearing his dad's clothes, says iBogey. Harsh. Chris says, aha, I have no idea what to. Tracy Carroll, hi, guys. Hi, Tracy. How you doing? I found out the result from the cheer outside. I live in Scotland, says Tom. Did you, if you live in Scotland, were you rooting for Italy? That seems deliberately churlish.
That's what they do.
Oh dear.
That's what they do.
He wanted to be on Tattoo Fixers, says Brit. All he needs to do is pretend he's from like a different timeline. Been watching a lot of Loki recently, so all he needs to do is say he's a variant in his timeline. We won. So
yeah.
It's a little brief aside. In Loki, has no one thought it's a bit weird that he's fallen in love with Loki? I
think it makes sense.
Does it?
For those of us that care for ourselves. I mean, look at the industry. Look at the industry that we're in. How many times are we looking at pictures of our own face?
Yeah, I mean, I set it up so I can even see our thing on the auto cue these days. I know it seems weird. Loki's doing some self-love. Everyone says it's a great TV show. Darren Grimes does it once. Everyone's picking on him. Mark says, Steve, if you...
Allegedly, by the way, he's quite litigious.
Right. Proper tense is important, says Chris Hood. Yes, it is. It's come home. Football has arrived.
But it didn't come home.
No, but it's either way.
It's still technically
It's going to be a wrong...
He can just... All he has to do is update the year and hope that we play Italy again in the final.
Yeah, but it's got to be... What year could you change the 2s into? I suppose you could make the 0 into some 9s, but it's never going to land in a 9.
If you burn out the 0 with like a hot branding, then you can just have it after
Make
that.
it an 8. Put a line across. Okay, good idea. Said the plumber to the pizza, says iBogey. I have no idea which bit we're up to. My dad's Scottish. He plays footy like those Italians. He cheats, says iBogey. Oh, there's no need for that, kind of actually. Although, to be fair, I didn't realise you could grab someone's collar and pull them. Yoink!
Yeah.
If he didn't say the word yoink when he was doing that, it's a foul. Footy method, says Mark Randall. Looking sharp, guys. Nice ties. Knitted. Snazzy tie clip. But is that bog roll as the pocket square? Of course it's not. It's a blue mask because I might need to go on the tube.
Yep. Or watch this show next week.
Yeah, stylish. Great Harry Kane impersonation deserves more credit, says Martin Walker. I know, exactly. I worked on that for all of no time, but a little bit in the car.
Credit for it.
And Mark says, read the comment about the white guy scored. Just a white guy also failed to save penalties. Hashtag just saying. Exactly. It made no logical sense. We'll leave some of the comments going there because we've got loads to get through. We'll get more comments on the knitted tie coming through.
And I did see a Kofi come through, so thank you for that as well. If you've done that, I can't see who it is yet, but thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. And subscribing to the show is great as well. Liking the show, all those kind of fun things.
It all helps. I'm going to reset so I look good and it's easy to edit any clips. And I would say, Mr. Eric McElroy, I think we're in a position, the Kofi's on the thing, but it's in the chat as well. Get yourself onto the main YouTube. You can get involved in the chat to continue enjoying the show. And Mr. Eric McElroy, the question is, what problem have you got for us?
You just banned me from Tesco. Is that what happened there? This is the problem of a Karen. Now, we all know what a Karen is these days. You know, it's kind of a bossy, entitled woman who often just goes off and asks to see the manager, that kind of thing. They pretty much always, though, all of the examples I can see of this phrase of this is a Karen or American, So, being originally from the United States, I take that a little bit to heart. And it's a little bit exhausting to always be the one who's being the Karen or having to represent the Karen or having to, speak on behalf of the Karens. But then I saw this, was very excited. In the Irish Times in Dublin, it's an Irish Karen.
Irish Karen.
Irish Karen, which is tricky because it combines the adorableness of the Irish language with the awfulness of white privilege.
Right.
It's not a mix. That was a good impression, wasn't it?
I'm scared about how close to the line we can get before this becomes offensive, and I wasn't quite sure with that. But
but let's see. Let's absorb the Karen. In this case, she's actually named Dolores, but let's absorb a little bit of the
Dolores. It's spelled Dolores, but it's pronounced Karen.
Dolores, but it's pronounced exactly. Yeah. Here she is.
Crime been committed. Yeah. Can you identify yourself? You're required under the Securities Act to identify yourself.
Now, that's part of the Securities Act. Is I'm going to scan your face. My QR code app isn't working. Can you hold still? I'm just trying to. I can never get these things to work here. I just hold still. Just let me. Got it. There we go.
Just signed into his.
So
face.
she was. So who is Dolores? Why is she doing this? And what is she trying to get at?
My name is Dolores Cahill. I'm one of the election candidates, and I want to supervise the vote. And no one has any authority to restrict our entry.
Yep. So classic Karen there. She's got, the sound of authority, but without anything to back it up and behind it. She's filming the whole thing because she thinks she's going to show it to people who are going to give a shit. But it is so nice to hear that without the American accent. It really means a lot to me to hear it from someone else. And I think it's important to know that this is not just a U.S. thing, right? So we've got Dolores there, and we've also got her colleague. Let's hear what she has to say.
There's a thing called the Constitution that you have to follow, and there's a thing called law that you have to follow.
Woo! USA pops up in there. This is in Ireland, for Christ's sake. Why is it always an American accented person going off about the Constitution? Does Ireland even have a Constitution? I don't know. No one cares. But it's just obvious that she was there totally as a distraction, right? That was the whole purpose of that whole constitutional thing. Because watch what Dolores did while the American was going on about the Constitution.
So by your actions at this moment, right, you are not upholding the Constitution and you are asking unlawful.
Excuse me, don't touch me, that's assault.
That was a play they'd run before. Right. You talk about the Constitution like a crazy American. I will turn around and suddenly run towards a line of police, and I will run into them. And I don't know about the definition of this assault by the law, but I think you running into people with your physical body is a little bit more assault than someone standing still.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but I've watched a lot of, CSI and stuff like that. So the question is, why aren't they letting this woman in? She was on a ballot. She wanted to count the ballots. She was there, see the legal count. Why won't they let her in? Let's find out.
You're restricting my my entry into this building.
If you want to come in, all you have to do is put on a mask.
I don't consent to put on a mask.
Well, then you don't get in.
But you're trying to force me to do something.
I'm not trying to force you to do anything.
I do not consent. I want to go into this building.
I do not consent. So, Steve, this brings us to a place that you and I discuss a lot, which is basically the whole right to wear a mask, the right not to wear a mask. Now, the question is, in this moment, is anyone requiring her to wear a mask against her consent?
No.
No. Are they asking her to follow what looks like probably the law, since there's police there, where you have to wear a mask to go inside a public place?
Looks like it. I don't know if it's law, but as you say, but yeah, following the rules.
So, I think the technical term here is that she's full of shit. Does that make sense? It's just, are you exhausted by this logical argument? Because we both, again, you mentioned earlier, we do the right-wing media stuff, and it's circular, isn't it?
Oh,
it
God,
it never ends. And they've been asking for the right not to wear a mask. So now we're asking for the right to wear a mask. And in this case, she was required to wear a mask if she wants to.
Yeah.
So she wasn't getting anywhere. Yeah.
I was going to say, it's the same argument that people come up against all the time. Like, it's just, you don't have to wear a mask. You can or you can't as a consequence for one of those actions. No one's forcing you to learn how to drive, but there is a consequence with you not decide. If you decide not to, your life will be slightly different. How do you not get that?
Yeah, exactly. And if you decide not to learn how to drive and you get in a car, that's a different consequence.
Yeah.
Probably one more affecting the people around you, just like not wearing a mask.
She would have got through those police, though.
She would have done. Not that we're not endorsing that. So she's failed to bulldoze her way through. She's failed to argue logic because she has none. So she's bringing up here the golden yo mama defense.
Your mother would be very proud of you.
My mother will be absolutely ecstatic. Thanks very much for asking about her.
I think we are all that police officer's mother right now. I think we are all ecstatic.
Yep.
So she's gone through, logic has failed. She can't make up law. The yo mama thing didn't work. Now she's going to bring up her exposure.
Say some of my media channels are bigger than Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour, the Greens and the Social Democrats put together. I have 6 times more following than the President and 6 times more following than the Taoiseach.
That's pretty impressive, right? But this is where Officer Hugh, which I think was his name, became an absolute legend when he responded with this.
Than the President and 6 times more following than the Taoiseach. Okay?
But less than David Beckham.
Boom, motherfucker. You got less than David Beckham. That is just, I mean, that guy, we should have him on the show.
Yeah.
He should get his own comic solving problems channel or special or something like that.
Tell him how many people we've got following on social media.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I decided to have a look into Dolores' social media because she's bringing that up, that she's got all this power behind her. So I thought, let's have a look. Let's check out her Twitter. We've got it right here. So she's not following anyone. She has 8,000 followers on Twitter. Now, to be honest, she does have more than I do. But you've got at least 3 times that. So I think if we combine our Twitter plus the comic solving problems, which doesn't really add anything to it, she's, we're doing better than her. But she's only sent 1 tweet. She's not a big twit. And if you go on that tweet, it does lead to her YouTube channel. So let's have a look at her YouTube channel, right? Because that's another part of social media. And there's her YouTube channel. So it looks like she's had her 3 strikes, it would seem. So
she's been doing Gollum
that means
impression.
our YouTube channel has more subscribers than she does. So the Taoiseach may have blah, 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 whatever that Taoiseach is. No one knows. But if you want to watch videos by Dolores, you still can, but you can't find them on YouTube. You can't find them on brand new tube, which is a real thing that I've been on now, which is pretty amazing, isn't it? Are we on brand new tube?
Not yet, but now you've told me about it.
I know, but I don't think we want to be on there. I've looked at some of the other people. I just love that they've named it, because if you say it right, like, oh, have you seen my YouTube show? If you say it right, oh, I've got a brand new YouTube show. I've got a brand new tube. They've just, the sound that they've gone through the ooh sound, like, oh, it's brand new tube. It's brand poo-poo. It's brand new poo-poo tube. Poob tube. Whatever it is, they just, as long as it sounds with the ooh sound in there. But if you look at the tagline that they've got, it's build it and they will come, which is also the slogan for PornTube. Doesn't rhyme, but it gets you there in time, which is the important thing. So she's not big on Twitter.
On that too?
Oh, God, I hope not. She's not big on Twitter. She's not on YouTube. But what about Facebook? The protector of democracy? Oh, she's still there with 14,000 followers. Okay, good. So now we can see. But then again, she's gotten to 14,000 followers on YouTube, spouting off stuff that, I would argue is not true and is completely crazy. How are we doing on the old Facebook there, Steve, with comic solving problems? 30 people follow this. So
yeah, maybe we should spout more rubbish.
I think that we need to have a serious rejig. We're going to be relaunching again in September. Just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be burning some stuff. Burning that pocket square you got going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it because I don't want YouTube to cancel this show, but just saying, maybe we need to stand up for ourselves, find out whose mamas be proud of us.
How's she doing on TikTok?
Well, to be fair, Officer Hugh on TikTok saying that thing about David Beckham is doing very well.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he posted it, but a lot of people have, and it's gone pretty well.
I don't understand why people like that make arguments that are so obviously one step away from logical failure. They will argue the logic up until, boom, that step. Like, for example, I want to get in, don't touch me, I do not consent to you touching me. and I don't consent. Therefore, I've not given consent. All power to me. If the policeman says, I don't consent to you going in this building, boom. How have you not just scored another goal?
Because well, I don't know if they're trying too hard to be clever. This happened with Candace Owens, who's a Republican, who's obviously, she's pro-life, anti-abortion, but she also has decided that she's anti-vaccine. So she tweeted, "My body, my choice," which has been the argument for a woman's right to choose for decades. And you're like, oh, okay, so you agree with woman's right to choose then? Oh no, I don't mean that choice. I mean the choice I want.
Yeah. And
that's the problem.
That's exactly what we went through last week on the show. People have spent months arguing wearing a mask should be a matter of personal choice, actually. It should be a matter of personal choice. All right, it's a matter of personal choice. Don't choose it. No, you shouldn't be allowed to choose to wear it. It's personal choice. Back off. It was your argument for months.
Yeah. Madness.
Back in there.
Use that continuity. There you go. We got it. Right, let's jump into the comments here and see what people thought of Dolores Karen. As I'm going to call her. I'm not quite sure where you left off. It's,
just after your last lines about plugging the links.
Okay, so it says here, did you say this? Am I looking forward to Japan winning the baseball gold medal in the Olympics? There we go. I think you covered that. Yes. Yes, I'd love a little bit of baseball. Get everybody excited about the baseball, because you know what we don't have in baseball? Penalties. Because American sports don't end in ties because America demands a winner.
Right.
They just have guns at the end of the game. Let's see. The sickening bit is this is from Brit. That was from Mark. Brit says the sickening bit is that the football overlords, I'm not a footy person, LOL, are deciding if they will fine England and have already fined Hungary for crappy fan behavior.
Right.
So they charge the teams if your fans misbehave.
Okay, but that's not taxpayers, therefore it's not my money, so yeah, go on. Do it. Be a laugh.
Yeah, it's fine. It's no problem. She says the fines are always ridiculously tiny compared to the money they make.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not about the size of the fine. That's what my mom used to say. Tom says, I've supported the team that isn't England, even when not living in Scotland. I've not needed to change my allegiances at the border. Harsh. Mark says, why are you fed up with carrying the care and Karen? That's
a good Karen.
Carrying the
also, when you were doing your bit, I did realize you were saying Karen, an American. There's a pun in there.
There's something in there. American. Yeah, we'll work on that. Bayerberg says morning.
Morning.
So he's just joining us. Chris Hood says, oh boy, only Wales to go, and you've nailed all the Celtic nations.
Well, we won't be saying anything harsh about the Welsh because they are my people.
I thought you were going to say because no one cares.
No, how very dare you? I'm 132th offended. As regular viewers to the show will realise, I'm a 32th Welsh. There's lovely.
Yeah, and the last time I made fun of Wales, a friend of mine from Wales was watching and donated to the show, so I still feel bad about that, and I'm sorry, Joyce. Jack says, Ireland does indeed have a constitution, a strong constitution. Well, America's is strong, too. I knew they had a constitution. I just said that because I was being whatever. Charlotte says, good evening, everyone. Caught up on last week's show. My ears are still bleeding. Because in case you didn't see last week's show, Steve did a goal. And did you sing in last week's show?
Yes, my parody version of Right Said Fred with the song "I'm Too Vaccinated for This Mask."
Yeah. So, did we get in trouble on YouTube for that?
No.
I haven't looked.
I always love it. If I do a comedy song, we're meant to get a copyright strike. But if I'm so off key that the algorithm's like, nah, it's just noise, mate.
Bearberg says, I see this comedy thing isn't working, and one half of Comic Solving Problems is doing guest spots on talk radio. I know, I listen to them for comedic content, but showing up there in person, please.
Listen, I got to go where the money is these days, and yeah. If you don't want to see Steve on talk radio, Kofi Link. Yeah, I'll still go there for the money because I just need to earn in the morning there, in the evenings here. Don't watch GB News on Friday because I'm going to go there for some sweet, sweet cash. I always think people who think, oh, why would you go on these right-wing outlets? Well, because otherwise you just let them book right-wing guests and they just sit there agreeing with each other about how kneeling down is going to end society. Someone's got to turn up to disagree, and it's me. And then I have a day's worth of people on Twitter telling me what a vaccine is.
And if Steve and I've gone on talk radio and we'll go again. If he and I don't take these spots, then it all goes to Darren Grimes. And then after he's been on, they have to clean the whole place.
Now who's got to get in trouble and being sued about that?
Well, I'm just saying because he's northern, not because of anything else.
Do you know what?
Now we're doing the regions of the country.
I wanted to talk about this on radio today, but I obviously couldn't because of this content. So if you don't know the story, someone on Twitter said that when he was at school, he had a nickname because he enjoyed playing with himself in a crafty way. And that's not even the story we need to deal with. He's denied it. There you go, you're up to date. But when I was working on a radio station in Hertfordshire like 10 years ago, there's a guy in sales who told us a lovely story about a kid he went to school with who apparently the first day of sex education, when they start showing you some pictures, this kid, he would have been like 11 or something, apparently it was all too much for him, and he just started wanking and then just apologized because he couldn't stop. And had to be dragged out of the room going, I'm sorry, is this carrying on? So as long as you never did that at school, you've lived a good life, yeah?
The days before the internet, thank God.
It was the first rude thing he ever saw was like, I can't stop.
There was a guy in high school, I'm sure this was fake, that he had friends over, and there was there was the butter that comes like the margarine and sort of the tube, in like a bucket. And there was an indentation in that butter and then he had the reputation for putting something in the margarine.
Butterfucker.
Where I went to school, they weren't that clever.
No.
But yes, that's basically what he was.
And someone said, no, I said butt stuff.
We'll do a couple more of these and then we'll move on to the next story. Britt says, rather than booking a clown for kids or a stripper for the adults, let's book Karens for party entertainment. I agree. Chris Hood says, what's Facebook? Oh, I wish that we didn't know what Facebook was. Keith has just joined us. Evening, guys. Forgot the new... And he just stopped in the middle of the sentence. I think he meant the new time and channel. Well, we do keep moving it, so we apologize for that.
There are a few more moves coming up, but also Keith will be offended because he's Welsh or lives in Wales. Can't remember which one's which. But Eric's doing all of his Welsh offensive material.
I get angry sometimes about the Welsh. And will GB News still exist by this Friday?
As long as I get paid.
How is the tongue? Chris Hood wants to know.
So the stitches are out. It's healed, but actually she took too much out. It's healed with an indentation. I just thought I was going to get like normal tongue, and there's like a divot. I've got tongue divot as well.
Get some Botox. Get some Botox in there.
But it's amazing to not bite my tongue all the time. Honestly, life is just so much better.
There's some more stuff about GB News and stuff, but maybe we'll move on with the next story. We can always come back to that. The link for Ko-fi is there if you'd like to contribute. And of course, you can always subscribe, and that link is there as well. And yes, Mr.
So the next thing, just before we do move on, I just realised Tracy's just messaged wanking method. Thank you. Delightful.
That's on our special channel on the brand new tube.
Brand new tube. Excellent. We'll do special spin-offs on there. I want to deal with the problem of, actually, this is the serious problem. We've done enough silly messing around. Normally my second story is some stupid thing that I found in the Daily Star. No more. I'm a serious broadcaster. I want to talk about the problem to do with scams related to COVID and the vaccine and various things. Here's a screenshot of what people have been receiving, these emails and these messages about COVID vaccine passports. You think you've got to get one, you click on the link. People have had their bank accounts emptied by these horrible scams by horrible scammers. Someone tried to scam me just the other day, actually. I looked on my phone and the track and trace app told me that I needed to self-isolate because I'd been in contact with someone who tested positive. Really? Was that someone who tested positive? What, a Nigerian prince? I'm not falling for that. So I didn't. You're welcome. In fact, if anything, they got it wrong because I don't remember being near anyone with COVID. But strangely, loads of people I've met in the 10 days since then have all come down with it. So literally, the app couldn't have been more wrong. You do need to watch out for this scam from South Africa. There have been some government documents that they've been sharing online, and the government has had to say they're fake because there's this scam where a health statement was claiming that sex was preventing COVID, and the health statement has had to say, look, no, no. We got details of the thing that was sent around. A fake government document claiming that 4 to 6 hours of sex a day was the only way to prevent coronavirus. And I saw that and thought to myself, well, first thought was, it's bound to be some sort of person with Photoshop who wants to get their other half, getting back onto the sex swing of things. But then I realised 4 to 6 hours? Nah, no one wants that, do they? That's surely, if anything, that's a scam to get people to have the vaccine instead. 4 to 6 hours? Not even sex athletes do 4 to 6 hours, and I'm presuming there is such a thing as a sex athlete. I've not Googled it, but when you just know that that'll be a thing. Like the Sex Olympics. Sex athletes must go to the Sex Olympics. Again, I'm not Googled, but I'm just fairly sure someone must have invented it. A few shows ago, even we managed to invent gymnastics with the freestyle event of getting into the doggy position. It's available on our TikTok. I'm going to play it again because I've tried to nick it from our own TikTok to see if we get in trouble for nicking it from our own platform this time.
You join us for the semi-final of assuming the doggy position. Hilton has previous good form. That's a good start. Nice bounce and nails the landing. You've got to be happy with that.
Because last time that was the only complaint was that got us in trouble for some reason. So see how that
Good.
works.
I'm glad you've done it again.
Yeah, but this time, I've nicked it from the TikTok. You had TikTok in the corner.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
So that's fine. It's TikTok.
Yeah. So look, that's the big worry when it comes to trying to find a way to avoid the COVID. No one wants it, but apparently, and people were sharing this around, thinking that 4 to 6 hours a day of sex. Sure, you can work out that it won't. It's the opposite, isn't it? 4 to 6 hours of breathing in someone's face, it's more likely to pass it on. I imagine if you do 4 to 6 hours of having the nookie with someone with COVID, your track and trace is going to ping. It will definitely say you've been near someone. I mean, that's how I spent my time for the last 10 days, and look what happened with that. However, before we move on from the article, in the news article, I do love one of the complaints was that it was poorly written, claiming to be a government report, but poorly written and had spelling mistakes. Yeah, well, maybe your typing might not be great if you've just done 6 hours of bonking. It seems like a weird way to judge, but you know what? I thought to myself, it's worth a try, isn't it? No one wants to catch COVID, what with the Delta variant and all this stuff, and at the moment, I'm only mono-vaccinated. So 4 to 6 hours of having some sex, it's worth a try. Just another 3 hours and 58 to go.
Well, I think I'd rather see you sing than that particular image again. But everybody knows it's not sex that prevents COVID. And it's not sex that keeps people from getting near you who have COVID. The thing to do is wanking,
Crafty. Although
that is why I'm banned from Tesco's.
Oh, on the wrong page.
I get them in. Every now and then.
I will set that up as a hotkey. So if ever you say it, boom, we're about to go.
It's just
there. Right, into the comment section. I'll go back to some of the previous ones with Jack saying, so Eric, that lad had a knob of butter. Yes, that's the pun we should have done. Knob of butter. How did we not think of that? Oh, God.
We didn't say, I don't think we said knob in America back in the day. I can't remember now.
What kind of a childhood did you have? If you didn't have the day when you discover we did this on the radio recently, and I can't believe no one said knob. Like when the first time you learned rude words that aren't rude, like when you do CDT and someone tells you that the real thick coarse file is called the bastard file. Like, it's just the best day. That scam is terrible, says Mark Randall. After all, if you've had the Pfizer vaccine, hello, yep. Like a decathlete, says iBogey. Fair enough. Brit says, my mum giggled and spurted out Marge. Helps with 4 to 6 hours sex. Mum just giggled and spurted out Marge. Helps you with 4 to 6 hours sex. Who's Marge? Can I get her phone number?
I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes it's better not to ask.
After 4 to 6 hours, says Mark, my app wouldn't ping, but my back would. iBogey says, not when you're isolating, Steve. You got to do the old Grimes.
Yep.
Stephen Leatherdale says, sex athletes. would be full of stiff competition. Hey, and Mark says,
nice.
where would they hand their medals? Oh, that would be an amazing thing at the end, wouldn't it? On the 3 little podium thing, just draping the medal on it.
Piercings.
All I can think of is all I can think of pinging is my banjo string, says Chris Hood. And
Is that what you call your willy?
it's the bit of skin that comes down from underneath the glands to the foreskin.
Ah,
On the
right. Sorry.
the medial side, whatever the non-dorsal bit, your underside.
I'm not au fait on the whole foreskin thing. So
Well, let me
USA.
USA number
That's,
one.
how do you think we make all those flags?
Oh dear, it's all made up of banjo skins. My auntie Marge has been in hospital for ages. I can't believe she's not. Oh, but I bogey you put. I can't believe she's not butter. I think it's meant to be. I can't believe she's not better. But either way, excellent typing. No, excellent joke. Bad typing, and that's fine. We'll take a slice of that.
That's fine. Take that.
Yeah. So we've learned about banjo strings, which somehow shouldn't have been the lesson from tonight's show, but okay. Meanwhile,
Never heard that. 21 years in the UK.
you learned a lot
There
tonight.
we
Haven't you?
go.
Knob of butter and banjo strings on ding
I
dongs.
knew about the knob of butter thing.
Right.
I've experience with that. That's why they banned me from Tesco's. Gotta get it on the hotkey, Steve.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So,
go for it.
final problem of the show. This is a problem of an ex-president who will not shut the hell up. That's what we've got right here. This is Trump will not stop talking to anybody who's interested. Basically, he's been interviewed for loads of books. There are 2 coming out soon. One is called by Michael Bender, Frankly, We Did Win This Election, The Inside Story of How Trump Lost. And another is Michael Wolff, Landslide, The Final Days of the Trump Presidency. So we've been looking at these books, looking at some of the highlights, some of the revelations of these books. And as we've done in the past, but we haven't for a while, because there haven't been a lot of Trump books for a while, that means we're going to look at some of the most shocking things in the book. And we're going to do that with a quiz. That means it's quiz time. Look at that. Jingles throughout the show. We got sports, we got quiz, we got it all. So you can play along if you're watching us live in the chat. Steve, are you ready for the quiz?
I'd just like to say I've had a great time so far, and it's okay that I didn't win.
And you won't, because I'm in control. Right. True or false? A man named Tony Bobulinski claims to have 3 cell phones with text messages implicating Joe Biden and his son Hunter in foreign payoffs. True or false?
3 mobile phones seems strange, but then, as we've learned, if that track and trace app pings, you've got to buy a new phone. So, true.
True. However, we'll never see the messages because he's lost the phones. We'll never see the messages. So I realize I've got a typo there. I don't think I wrote down the actual punchline of what I was going to say.
Did you type down, I can't believe he's not better?
I can't. I don't know what I meant to write down there, but I didn't revise.
What have you got so far? Let's see if we can retro.
I couldn't. Yeah. I don't know. It didn't make any sense.
So
Let's move on.
He's got 3 phones, but we're never going to get to see them because.
What I wrote doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I was.
What did you write? I reckon we could knock a joke out of this.
I couldn't even make up. He lost all 3. It's true. But I just couldn't even. I don't know. I don't know what I meant to write there.
Yeah. He does have these messages on his mobile phones, but we'll never get to see
It is
them.
true. Because I couldn't even make up he lost all 3, is what I wrote.
I couldn't even make up he lost all 3.
I couldn't even make this up. He lost all 3.
Oh, so actually maybe that is true, that he's lost all 3 and you didn't make it up. Is that part of the story?
There we go. I guess so. I don't know why that's humorous.
Do you know what? We get that message. People type that a lot in the comment section. We just never read those ones out.
There we go. Let's not debate the... Anyway, let's move on.
Some of the comments, some people said true, some people said false. Chris Hood said twang. He's got some banjo string issues going on. But Mark Randall says Steve won, I Bogey won, Jack won, Charlotte won, Tracy won, Brit nil, Mark nil. I think Eric nil after that one.
I think I'm minus...
Eric -1.
Let's see if I wrote any other jokes in this that make any sense. True or false? Trump campaign's election fraud hotline was deluged with dick pics, animal porn, and a very, very rude language. True or false? He had a hotline for people to call in with proof of the campaign. Did people essentially spam that hotline?
I mean, it's possible, but I guess someone might have recently lost 3 phones in a non-funny way. So that's fewer phones around. I'm going to say true.
Correct.
Bang.
But all of the messages were from Rudy Giuliani.
That's why he's called Rudy.
That's, there we go.
Yep.
Double jokes there. Adding this,
Just thought I'd
adding
join
on.
in, just in case.
Just in case. True or false? Trump was looking to move from Twitter, because he got banned, obviously, to the alt-right platform Parler, so that he would get a 40% stake in the platform if he did that, and he would ban anyone who talked bad about him on the platform. True or false?
Okay, we'll tread water for a few seconds while the comments come in, because people are guessing true and false on this. Although Chris Hood said E minor. Nice. I can't remember what happened with Parler, because it was very popular around that time of him getting banned, but then it all disappeared or something, didn't it?
Yeah, it lost its cloud servers after the insurrection.
It actually got no platformed.
Yeah, but it's back. It's back
Is
again.
it? Oh, we should be on there.
Yeah.
If we're going to be on Right Wing Tube, we should. A lot of people say, "Oh, great, an even split of trues and falses." That's not helping me. I'm going to say true.
It's false, because no one ever says anything bad about Trump on Parler. So there would have been no one to ban.
Of course, brilliant.
Wouldn't be possible. Trump apparently asks his guests, true or false, does Trump ask his guests at Mar-a-Lago if they know any good lawyers?
To kick off a conversation that doesn't include Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, I mean, so no one's helping in the message yet. I imagine Trump strikes me as the kind of guy who asks his friends if they ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. So I'm going to say, everyone's going true. True.
That's right. But there are no good lawyers or good people at Mar-a-Lago.
Brilliant.
True or false? Trump wanted to use the pandemic to postpone the election.
I mean, I don't even... Charlotte says, lots of zeros in there. So that's 1,000 million, 1 billion% true. I'm going to go true.
False. He wanted to use any excuse to postpone the election.
Damn it. I knew there was something wrong with that percentage.
It is true. But anyway. And I think this is, no, we got 2 left. This is the penultimate. True or false? Trump told his chief of staff that Hitler did a few good things.
I mean, he's becoming a parody of himself if he did that. He did a few good things. Let's have a think. What would be the good things? Painting. He was not even good at that. No, it can't be true. I'm going to say false.
Correct. Actually, no. I'm sorry. You got that wrong. He actually said Hitler did a lot of good things.
Okay.
That was the actual quote. So not just a few. It's like that Hitler guy. Oh, that's not there. We don't want this channel to get taken down. Final question. Trump has sat down for more than 22 books to talk about his presidency.
Sat down for 22 books.
So to be interviewed. So like these we're going over are from 2 of the books that have come out post-presidency. But the question is, has he sat down for 22 interviews about his presidency?
He strikes me as the kind of guy who enjoys sitting down. So I am going to go with, let's have a look, people in the comment section. I think we're going to go with true. True, they're saying true.
Correct, but most of them are coloring books.
Do you reckon he keeps within the lines, or is that too much like building a wall?
Of course not. He doesn't have to keep within the lines. But the only color he uses is orange.
I think if we wait a few more
seconds. There we
seconds,
go. How did we do?
Yeah, Mark Randall has been keeping score. I'm not bringing all the scores out, but he's doing it. So we'll get the final results on that very shortly.
Yeah, I think that first question was a wash. That was just a practice
Was it?
question.
That's how it
Don't quite know what I was going for there. There were jokes in the other ones though, weren't there?
What do you mean?
That was
Weren't
just
there?
a misfire. Validate me, please. Please validate
Look, I think it's also impressive that I didn't realize you were reading these things, nor did I realize, because we've never really worked together with auto cuey stuff. You've got a screen that lets you do auto cue. I've got this cheap thing that's made of whatever it's made of that barely stays together. But we never use auto cue together. So you're very good at reading, or you were very natural. I didn't know you were reading. But I also didn't realise that you full on Ron Bergen did the full, like, reading half a sentence and then getting to the end of it and just being, don't know what that means. You went in.
Well, because some of them I could say, oh, that's the one about that's the coloring books gag. I don't need to read the sentence verbatim. It's about coloring books. Yeah. But that one, because I didn't recheck it, I did that first and then went on. There were no cue words in that. Yeah. I was reading the whole thing going, what was the payoff for this? Because even I was reading the true false. I was like, that doesn't make sense. No
cue words, no functional words for a punchline. Don't think we had any verbs. I'm not even sure we're calling it a sentence.
It happens. But the way you can help with that is if you give in that mouse.
We cut the power. Remember how I said for some reason I'd set up a hotkey in case of emergencies that I could press and it just cuts everything. I've still got it. I never deprogrammed it.
What is the emergency?
Just in case we just need the feed. I set one up.
I don't think you told me that before.
No, it happened once before. I caught it by mistake because stupidly the cut power button is right next to the button that brings on the Ko-fi link. I probably need to change that.
I was watching our friends at GB News the other day, and just as they came back from one of the shows after the break, it came back to the presenter. You heard a woman in the background go, "Oh shit!"
Friday night for more of the same.
Great. Yep. There we go.
The scores are in, by the way.
The quiz.
Did you see?
We have. Oh yeah. What are the scores? Tracy.
Yeah. Britt gets 2. Steve gets 3. Charlotte gets 4. I bogey 5. Jack 5. Mark 5. Tracy 6. Tracy wins.
Congratulations, Tracy. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, that wasn't. That wasn't the button I meant to push.
Well, we've all had a bit of that tonight.
There we go.
High tech. This is high tech.
You like that? It's nice, isn't it?
Why do you need a button for a burp? Because people don't know this because they don't sit through the pre-show thing that I have to go through, where we test the mics, we get everything ready, and in my ear it's just yeah. It's basically what I have to listen to. That's my pep talk before the show.
It's an old trick to clear the vocal.
Or even worse than the ones where Eric burps like a burp. Are these ones? Oh.
Try and hold it in to be polite.
But then I just hear it in the mic. I get ASMR burps in my ear.
Oh, right. We've done almost an hour. We got to finish this.
Britt says, no, where have they gone? Well, I think we've explained that one. And
yep.
Maybe I thought I'd gone sane for a minute, says Chris, but only for a minute. And Tracy says, yay, I won something. Congratulations, Tracy. Excellent work. Celebratory burping, very a merry Karen, says Britt. That's how you put it together.
It's a low blow.
That's a good pun, though. Look in the puns.
The puns are good.
Irish Karen. Spelled Dolores, pronounced Karen.
Do we know when we're on next week? Because it is moving around. I think we're back at Wednesday again.
I think we are.
Hold on.
Like
I think we are. Wednesday. We are here next Wednesday. But the week after, I believe, is our week off. So, yes, there's no show next week. So the 21st, we have a show. And then not the week of the 28th, we are dark. How dark will we be, Steve?
How's it not working now? Oh.
You've broken the dark button.
Broken the dark button, but it was... Here
we go. So we'll be dark then, but and then we'll be back the week after that. So if not before.
Yeah, if not, or whichever comes first. Beautiful. Well, I think we're nicely up to date. The Ko-fi thing's there. That mask is actually stopping you seeing the money to give the link to give money, and we don't want that. Need every penny we can get to keep me off of right-wing media.
But But yeah, we appreciate you watching, subscribing, sharing the clips that we put out there, and everything else. And we're back in 1 week's time.
Till then, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.